is it possible, do you think, to run a fully AI law firm right now? Yeah, now you've got to have the law firm. Assume you've got to have the law firm in most states where you've got a lawyer at the head. Okay,
Yep.
so you need one human to be the lawyer. Is it possible? And if so, what does it look like?
The answer is, I think, yes, and it's so close. Like, what does it look like? I think it is, it looks different almost week to week now.
It is, that part is really frustrating, but yes, you're right.
It's as we've kind of talked through this stuff, and this probably should not be a topic of your conversation with Billy, but she gives me so much. She's like, you're not going to solve this. Like, I'm like, I will come up with the right solution. But I finally had to let go and say, okay, look, things are changing so fast. The right model, I need, to think about this from the standpoint of, if you're going to set somebody up on it, what's the right platform to be able to be nimble and move around? Because
what's that platform right now? Right now, as of
today. Well, I'm like, and this was a tough one, but I'm building on Notion. We're using Notion,
really,
which sounds left field.
It sounds,
but it's
yes. I would not. You would have, if you would have given me 50 guesses, I wouldn't put Notion in there.
Yeah. So yeah, I've wrestled with this a lot, but their AI approach is that where they've. I don't even use. I'm wasting money on ChatGPT now because I don't use it. I mess around with it when I want to compare Claude versus ChatGPT versus Notion, but it's got its own mod, and you can pick models within it.
Yeah. What about Gemini?
Gemini's in it. But yeah, we use Google Workspace, and so we're building on Notion, and they I've been using this in beta, but they've got custom agents that they just released generally yesterday that allow you to manage anything, manage your email, reach out, draft marketing content based on a Slack conversation that somebody, hearts with a reaction that will trigger, an agent to go out and do whatever you want on it. Mm-hmm. They've connected it to outside sources. Like, we use Stripe. It can go manage Stripe with custom agents now and go out and, you tell it, I need you to create a new customer and send out an invoice. It'll do it.
Have you played with Clawbot yet?
I have not.
Okay.
I did not. Like, I've read about it. I haven't used it. But it's what. And part of the reason why I didn't jump into it, one is focus, trying to make sure, because I've been wrestling with this, and part of the reason I landed on the Notion model is it is the same concept minus the local nature of it. Yeah. They host it. And so I've been really trying to focus in, and because we're building these concepts with these firms, and you can't just bounce around all the time. You need to have, and so what I did was I looked at all the major players to say, okay, here's the landscape. Which platform has the AI theory, the AI execution model that fits with what we're doing? Sure. And that's where it was. Like, we've used Airtable forever as a back end.
People love Airtable.
It's great. Yeah. And they're a big player. And part of the reason you also got to choose somebody with like a lot of funding too. Cause like I love the startup world, but at the same time, everybody's becoming irrelevant real quick. And if you don't have a track record, then, we're just, screwing ourselves over by adopting some tech on that.
And I'm going to ask you about legal tech in a little bit, because I'm very curious about what your thoughts are and what's going to happen with legal tech, because there's so much money flooding into it. But
right.
I want to ask you about N8N. Have you played around with N8N at all?
We use it a bit. We primarily use, our main tool on that front is Make, or things like Pipedream or WhaleSync that have kind of broader syncing as opposed to just kind of narrow tools.
Right.
We use on like a couple projects that are like real specific. We've used it.
Yeah, because
right?
that's where
Minimal.
we've leaned into N8N. Although what's got me really interested in Gemini and Google is the ability to use gems and all that.
Right.
Which is but like what you were talking about with everything's changing, and you want to have something that's a dependable platform. I feel like we're so early in this. People probably think, oh, we are 3 years into this whole 4 years, because it was
Right.
2022 and it all just kind of changed. We're still at just at the very, very beginning. We're at the finish line, or the starting line of this. But like building a sustainable platform, I feel like you didn't mention Claude in any of your stuff. I think part of that is they don't have like this universe of things.
Right. So part of the reason why I landed where I have is, and I've had this conversation with Claude, like, because my chat history is probably like real stupid on this topic, because like, I know I talked to you about this a month ago. I would like to revisit it. And, and
Your therapist.
Right. I know. Like, I had this conversation with Claude last week to say, because it gives its recommendations, and I use different platforms for their recommendations, because Airtable's AI was like, yeah, you should definitely use Airtable. Like, obviously, cool, thanks Airtable.
Yeah.
That's they released a super agents platform that's superagents.com or something, that deep research produces these really cool presentations and documents on the whatever topic you want.
Sure.
So I was asking it what platform should we use in the MSO concept, and yeah, of course it was like, you should definitely lead with Airtable. I'm like, cool, Airtable.
Does it know you worked with Airtable?
It does, and I give it like, here's the list of things I've used. Here's what I like about them. I don't like about them. Here's what I think is missing. Here's what I want to have. So I do that. I do the same analysis with all of them and just give them kind of this information, but. I did try to create a model with Claude with its skills and everything, and it's like, no, I'm not. It's not. You don't do this. You gotta, because it doesn't have a database behind it.
Right.
And now we can make much more simple databases. We don't have to be so complex with formulas and different things because of AI, but you still need the database behind it, and to store your matters in some fashion, or tracking leads. It doesn't have to be as complex. Like we've been wrestling with one of our firms wants some very specific sales data, and figuring out the data behind it is there's years and years of it. We have manipulated it so it matches because of all the different platforms, but mixing it together from a traditional database perspective is messy, and it breaks all the time. And it was last week, I was like, well, why don't we just use AI for it? Take the messy database. Like, you've got 4 different solutions. The overlay of AI on it allows us to get to the same end result. It will probably, the interesting part about it is there's going to be a cost factor to it.
Totally.
Because
but it's minimal.
It's minimal. And, Notion, with its release of custom agents yesterday, it's been in beta. I've been using it since they first got access to it. And May 4th, they're like, you have to pay with credits. Well, no shit. At some point, you have to pay for this, right?
Yeah.
And people are losing their minds, like, oh, that's not fair. What, like, why can't you just charge me a little bit more a month? Like, no, this stuff costs money.
This goes back to the whole Google problem that they created back in the early 2000s when
Right.
they made it free, and they went to this advertising model, and everyone got spoiled on it, and then they expect everything to be free, but it's got to be paid for in some way.
And if you do it well, I was doing that when I just saw the pricing for the first time yesterday. Like, as I've talked with my firms on this, like, we're using tech, but really what we're building is workers.
Sure.
And which is a hard thing to get your head around.
Really hard for people to get their head around.
Like, we're going to build you hundreds of workers that are doing these things. And as I was doing the analysis on the cost piece of it, we may pay thousands of dollars a month in agent credits, but that's okay because of the workers we're getting out of it, you know, because you're also not hiring these, people to do these, tasks. So I think it ultimately ends up being cheaper, but it's hard for people to get their head around the idea of hiring tech to do work. This is different.